Less than 30 seconds now in regulation. Could this take extra time? 16 seconds. Here's Dial. Send it up at the point, J. Lalu. Call midget now, but Matt, 6 seconds, 5, Dalfan coming out. He gets around him, 2 seconds. He's got to do it quick. Shoot, the scores, 1 second left.
There we are. What's going on, Tiz?
What's up, man?
Not much. We're here, dude.
Yep.
Finally,
We're here.
finally your turn for the Faceoff interview series, or the Face to Faceoff, as I think Skis called it. So
Yeah,
I
you
kind of
do.
like
You
that
just-
name.
Yeah, you just gotta not ask Dial to do this, and then he'll eventually just ask you, and that's how you get on it.
Yeah.
That's a pro tip.
Shout out to Kiwi right there.
Yeah, stay woke.
So yeah, we're here, and I meant to do this 3 weeks ago now. I think it was, right?
Yeah, it was
Maybe a little
while
more
ago.
than 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That we were talking about doing this, and then some stuff came up and I couldn't do it, and then I wound up going on vacation. So I was hoping to be able to get it done before then so we could have this out and not have a 3-week break here, but it is what it is. But we're getting back into it with the most important member of the community, Jay McKay.
I don't know about
Jay
that one.
TaZeR. Well, I mean, we wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for you, so
Yeah, you're welcome, everybody.
that definitely counts for something.
Yeah. It's kind of funny, like everybody kind of forgets that, oh, hey, you made the league.
Well, a
think,
lot of the people that play now wouldn't even know that.
Yeah. It's true.
Like, I mean, it's been 15 seasons. It's been 4 years. You know that?
Yeah,
The
it's
4-year anniversary of
it's
the
crazy.
LHL was like yesterday or the day before or something like that. Which is nuts to me.
Yeah, it's
Completely nuts.
yeah, it's been a wild ride.
So yeah, pretty straightforward. You created the LHL. So Jay TaZeR back in 2013 got bored over the summer. We'll talk about it more in a little bit, but got bored over the summer, decided it was a good idea to make this, and here we are. You also helped co-create the RSL. You served as LHL commissioner for 8 seasons. I think it was 8. It might be 7, but I think it
Yeah,
was 8.
it was somewhere in there because I quit at least one time
Yeah,
and did
you
it again.
quit, and then, well, we both quit, right? We both
Yeah.
quit and then came back with Cap for a little while, and then quit again, and then you got the new BOC. You've played in all, so I did this before season 15 started, so you played in all 14 LHL seasons up till now, so including this one, it's all 15 LHL seasons. You're one of only 3 players to do that, including myself and K-Bomb. Shout out to the old guard. You've never been drafted lower than 8th overall. Pretty nuts. You're one of the 2 defensemen to ever be drafted 1st overall. The other one is Dalfan. So.
Which one made the playoffs again? Oh yeah. Just throw that one out there.
Yeah, we won't go there. We won't fire shots on this. It's a family show. So as a player, one of the longest tenured players, in 5v5 you have 233 points plus 187 in 164 games played. And if I'm not wrong, I think that's like the best 5v5 plus minus. And I think you have the best 5v5 and 4v4 combined plus minus. You have 132 goals, 101 assists. You're one of only a small handful of defensemen that actually has more goals than assists. Believe it or not, most people tend to have slightly more assists than goals. But you're special like that. You got a good shot.
Oh yeah.
Used to be a forward,
most
so.
defensemen just coast off the forward's coattails. I actually try and make opportunities myself. So yeah. That's why it's like that.
Big dick Taze. In 4v4, which was only 5 seasons, and now this is the 10th season of 5v5. How crazy is that? We've played twice as much 5v5 as 4v4.
It doesn't feel like it at all. And then
It doesn't.
I remember the first season was when we went to 5v5 was when me and you went to the NHL All-Star game. and that
You were
seems
on
like just
season
yesterday,
6
pretty
San
much.
Jose. Yeah, I know. It was 2014, right?
Yeah.
15, 14?
14 of it?
I think it
No,
was 14.
15? No.
I think it was
I think it was beginning of 15.
it
right?
was beginning of 15. It was the
Yeah.
2014 NHL season.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we got it. Anyway, so 198 points in 4v4, too short of 200. Does that bother you?
Actually, I didn't know that until now, and now it's kind of bothering me. So yeah.
Yeah.
If I would have been that, if my luggage didn't get lost after the first
Oh, I
OptiCon,
forgot about that.
I would have done it because I was on Big Buffalo.
Yep. Playing forward.
Yep.
You had 116 goals and 82 assists in 4v4, so same general scheme here. Scoring more goals than you are assisting, which again, not a very common trend among defensemen. You GM'd twice very early on in the LHL. GM'd for 55 regular season games over 2 seasons, both with Chicago. You achieved a record of 28, 3, 2, and 22 for just over 56% win rate. GM'd for 9 postseason games, achieving a record of 3, 1, 1, and 4 for a 44% win rate. And you made the postseason and the finals once as a GM. So exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Now we'll get into the long list of career achievements, which I don't know if you've taken a look at this yet.
Yeah,
But
I saw it.
yeah, you got a lot here. You ready?
Yep, I'm
So
ready.
you're a 13-time LHL All-Star, looking to make it 14. And I think you would be 15, but the one season you didn't get it, you weren't able to make it to the game, so we didn't have you on the vote.
Oh,
Pretty sure that's what happened, because that happened to me and Matt one season too. Season 5, I think. And I know it happened with you as well, where we just didn't put you on the vote because you said you wouldn't be there. You've made the playoffs 13 times in the past 14 seasons, so you've literally missed the playoffs once, which was our very
the
first
beginning
season.
yeah.
Yep.
And we would have made it, but you went on vacation.
Yeah, and then Sammy went on vacation too,
Yeah.
didn't he, for a couple
I
games?
played 2v4. I think it was like me and Marchie or something.
Yeah. Remember Vokun and Bo?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Good times, man. So you're an 8-time LHL finalist, been to the LHL finals more than anyone else. You've won the LHL Cup 3 times. You've won your own trophy for best defenseman 6 times. You've won the Kulixer Cup, which is the President's Trophy, 4 times. You've won the Tim Barrett Trophy for most points as a defenseman 3 times. And you've had perfect attendance 3 times, which feels weird to say now with everything that goes on, with
Yeah.
work and whatnot with you now. But I think you just did it last season, didn't you?
Yeah, it was actually like surprising. Every time I couldn't make the game, my GM would pull some wizardry, and he would make me show up to the game. And shout out to Hannah for that one too.
Yeah, he had Hannah in his back pocket.
Yeah.
So, you're a 1-time Cryptic Sea Cup winner, which is playoff MVP or regular season MVP. I think it's regular season MVP.
Yeah, it's right because
Yeah,
I
and then
remember that
first star
season.
trophy.
Yeah,
is
if
the
I would
playoff
have
one.
voted for myself in the playoffs, I think I would have won it. But I'm a nice guy.
That was season 6 on San Jose. You got MVP.
Yeah, and then Lucic got the playoff MVP, I think.
You've won the Crab in a Tree Trophy for most assists once, and you have the Cup-winning goal or the Ace Both Memorial Trophy once as well.
When was that?
I think that was that New York? May have been New York.
It had to be because I don't. No, not New York because because that was TV.
Then maybe it was season 6.
It had to have been, yeah. Huh, I didn't know that.
So you have the highest career 5v5 plus minus. You have the highest 5v5 and 4v4 plus minus together too, for what that's worth, and it is like not even a little bit close. You have the second highest career playoff assists, the third highest career 5v5 playoff plus minus, second highest career 5v5 playoff games played, third highest career 5v5 playoff time on ice, which goes sort of hand in hand, third highest career 4v4 assists, second highest career 4v4 games played, and just about every career-based statistic for a defenseman, if you were to look at just defensemen, you would lead in every category as well. So, and that's such a long list of records that I would need to have filled up literally the entire screen to show all of them. So we're not going to get into all of them individually. Just know that if there is a defensive record, you probably own it.
No, that's It's good to hear.
So
No,
very
it's-
successful. Probably
Yeah.
arguably the best defenseman to ever play the game, at least historically.
Yeah.
Sound in agreement with that anyway.
I didn't know what to say to that.
I feel you. I put you on the spot there.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll start getting into the questions. So what got you into the sport of hockey?
Well, I have a cousin from Pittsburgh. He's a big Penguins fan, unfortunately. I think it was like right after the lockout. Uh, my dog's barking, but it was right after the lockout. I think he came to visit, and he's just like, "Hey, man, uh, the sport's pretty cool. You want to play NHL like 2K6 or something like that?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, man. Let's go at it." And it was honestly pretty fun, and it just kind of like escalated from there. Then we actually like started playing street hockey. I think we bought like some really awful net and some like wood sticks that were like too small for us, and we just go to town in the driveway. And then I was like, he wanted me to be a Pittsburgh fan, and I really like kind of research teams, and I am a big Chicago guy. I love my Chicago sports besides the Bears, and so I was like, oh, might as well, pick the Blackhawks because they're from Chicago, and I could go to games all the time.
Just out of curiosity to sidetrack you there, what NFL team are you a fan of?
Of the Tennessee Titans. Yeah, my stepdad walked in. Sorry. Tennessee Titans. Yeah, they're on the upcoming. That's another story. So yeah, so I really have to give it to my cousin for really getting into the sport because I was a big, baseball fan growing up, also a football fan. My
Big
dad
Cubs
used,
fan, right?
yep, big Cubs fan. My dad used to take me to football games all the time, and it was honestly like awesome. And then so hockey is really special to like just blow all that out of the water for me. And then I was just kind of here, and I played all the NHL games, growing up. Got to know the Chicago Blackhawks, and I got really lucky because I got in a great time when I think they just what was like either like a season after that or something. They got
2008, right?
Taves.
Or 2007?
I think it was somewhere in there. They got Taves, and the
Was
season
Taze
after that was
07
Kane.
and Kane was 08? I think
Yeah, it
that's what
was.
it was.
I forget the dates, but yeah, it was something like that. So I got
Yeah.
like I didn't know any of those guys. I was like a new hockey fan, and obviously like I didn't know anything about the hype because my one hockey friend was my cousin who lives in Pittsburgh, so I didn't know anything about that. And then I just started, watching the games. I think they were televised on Versus. If anybody remembers that.
Oh shit, they still had that up to like 2011, didn't they?
Oh,
Before they
yeah, I think so.
got
Yeah,
rid of
it
that?
was. I kind of miss it. I like the Versus coverage. I'm not really that big of a fan of the NBC, but yeah, I'm watching all those games on Versus, and I used to have to go into like weird chat rooms and watch the games too, and like talk with some sketchy people. It's not a luxury that we have these YouTube streams and whatever they're hosted on
I
now.
think Versus got bought by NBC Sports, if I
Yeah,
remember
I
correctly.
think that's what happened. Yeah,
Because I remember watching the 2011 Bruins run on Versus, or a lot of it anyway, was on Versus.
yeah, I'm always a fan of Versus. Yeah.
So you mentioned the NHL games. How long have you been gaming for, and what first got you into that?
So I've been playing games since I was a kid. I think what really got me into it was watching my dad, play with whatever game he was playing. He wasn't that big of like a gamer, but like obviously he'd play like the GTA's, and then we played the NBA games and the NHLs eventually, and then all the Maddens. Like he beat me in Madden. He was ruthless. My dad did not let me win any games at all. I think that's what really fueled my competitive spirit too. Him not letting me beat him in any games. But yeah, I have to give all the credit to my dad, and just kind of escalated from there. And then he got me like the new PlayStations, the new Xboxes, and all that. And my favorite game, growing up was always Halo. I think that
The first
game,
one?
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I used to play like the custom games like Halo Zombies all the time. I forget what map. It was like some really tiny circular map. It was a lot of fun. I think that's what originally got me hooked.
Halo 1 was the best. I loved Halo 1, and I loved the first Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront.
I wasn't a Star Wars fan for a
I wasn't
long time.
either, to be
Yeah,
honest. But Battlefront, I had a shitload of fun with that game.
yeah.
What's your favorite genre of games, then?
That's hard to pick because I love I love a lot of games. Played a bunch of them. Too many to count. I can't even remember half of them probably. Uh, it has to be like sports and first-person shooters probably. Like I've said before, Halo. I was really big into Halo, and then in middle school and high school, Call of Duty was my thing, and also the NHL series was also my thing in high school. I used to love playing the versus mode on that, and club playing clubs on that was a lot of fun as well when they introduced that. I think in like 08, 09. Yeah, just a bunch of fun, and I used to just remember coming home after school, playing some Call of Duty with my friends, and then getting off it. But now, uh, since I got an actual like desktop computer, I think like 2 years ago now, which is wow, it's gone by quick. I've been playing a lot of Counter Strike, and that's probably my favorite game right now, even though it's people have their opinions on it. I know Dial, you hate and love it sometimes, but you gotta admit it's pretty fun.
It's a good game. I guess I just hate that I'm not good at it. I'm too competitive of a person to not be good at something.
Yeah,
So that's really what drives me nuts about it. But I don't want to play it enough to practice to not be shitty at it. So
yeah. I
I'm sort of
remember
in
you
that.
sending me a text or a Steam message saying I'm gonna really grind on CS:GO, and then you uninstalled it a week later.
That's usually how it goes with me. So so you spoke about playing computer games, right?
Yeah.
One of the biggest ones you've played over the last 4 years is HQM. How did you first discover HQM?
So I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I know you know it. My friend Vince, aka Hosa, aka Bickle, uh,
Came
he,
back recently, a couple
I,
months ago, right?
yeah, and
Remember that?
I wasn't able to come on TeamSpeak for that, yeah. But yeah, he got me into the game pretty early on. Nobody played on it. I don't even think there was any servers when I first got on and tried it with him. I know we played in our own, like, uh, whatever client side server or whatever. Just like hop on during IP and we played that with a couple other people. And it was a lot of fun. And that was on like my really bad laptop too. And I played with a touchpad, so it was even worse.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so me trying to do all that with a touchpad was awful. And then I even practiced on a touchpad too, because I mean we played for like a good solid week, and I think we were all awful, but my touchpad, was working for me for a little bit. And then I think it was like 2 years later. I don't even remember when that happened. Honestly, I could not even tell you the year.
Well, the game
But
came out in 2011 and the LHL started in 2013, so 2 years later makes sense.
I know it had to have been really early on in the game because there was no servers at all.
Probably no
And
minimap and
oh yeah, no, there wasn't. Uh-uh.
yeah.
Uh, and then so in 2013, I just randomly hop on. Uh, I've been randomly hopping on my own servers like all the time because I finally got like a mouse for my laptop, and I also got a new laptop from that really awful one in 2011. So I just started hopping on, like just practicing because it was a lot of fun, like just in between my actual like NHL games and all that. I'd spend like a few minutes on, and then one day I just like, oh, I wonder if anybody's on or anything, and I see a lot of people in a server, and I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, do people actually play this game? So like I pretty much hop on, and people are talking about like the leagues going on. And I was like, wow, there's leagues for this? Like I play in leagues in the NHL series. Like I wonder how many teams there are and all that. So eventually I'm like, hey, where can I find these leagues? And they're like on the Reddit. No idea what the Reddit was. Uh I was a big like Twitter guy back then, and I guess I didn't evolve into the world of Reddit until that day someone's like, it's on the Reddit, man. And I forget who said it to me, but they were such a dick about it, and I was like, I don't know what Reddit is, man. And so I saw there was what was it, just HTML, and there
Yeah.
was like some spreadsheet for it, and then there was like people waiting to be on a team. And I saw there was like at least 6 or 7 people on that list just waiting for a team, and they haven't been moved for a while. And so I was like, all right, I'm not gonna wait around for this. I'm a pretty impatient guy, so I'm gonna model a league after what I play right now, because I just got banned for a season off of one of the leagues that I played in, the big one, the VHL. I got banned for playing in another league, and they banned me from like the big one. It was super dumb, but I'm not gonna go into that. So I just pretty much just made a post, and I wasn't even that serious at the time about it. I was just like, oh yeah, maybe I'll try and make a league for the summer and see how it goes. And eventually, I posted that, and then I kind of forgot about it. And I think like 2 or 3 days later, I saw some posts on the front page. I think it was PKs or like, is this OHL gonna happen? Like, you guys know PK, he just like complaining all over Reddit about like if this is gonna happen or not. And then so I'm like, okay. So I try and get it all organized, and that's just, I guess, more from that later. I don't know if you have any questions about it. Oh yeah, you do. Yeah. So yeah, I guess more into that later. But yeah, that's how I really discovered HQM. It was just my friend Vince, and then just randomly hopping on the right time, the right place.
What was it about the game that kept you coming back constantly, even though there was like nobody playing and no reason to like get on and practice? Like, what was it that made you want to keep coming back every now and then?
I think it was just because of how hard of a game it was, and how awesome it was to actually like lift the puck in the air and score. Because I used to try and score the most goals in a period as I could, and that's how I practiced. Was just keeps trying to score goals, either off the face-off or at the blue line. Just keep doing it and actually like make a meaningful shot out of it. And it took me a while to like get it down. I think that was awesome when I finally, started to get all the mechanics down and actually be kind of good at the game. And then what's really captured my attention for so long is probably the community. Really haven't had an awesome community like this ever for a game that's so really like close knit, and all the friends that I've gained from this game is crazy. I mean, there's probably a good at least 5 people that I can say that you're my in real life friends too because of this game. And you guys mostly keep me coming back. Because I mean, sometimes this game gets a little dry and repetitive, but it's honestly the people that have me coming back. And then sometimes my competitive drive comes back if someone calls me bad, or oh, TaZe isn't a good defenseman, then I'll practice for it a little bit.
Washed
Yeah,
up
washed
veteran.
up. Yep, washed up veteran. Yeah. So that's probably why.
Get that self-motivation, which is a good thing.
Yep.
So, since we were just talking about it, I'll lead you off on it now. You sort of got into what prompted you to create the LHL, so I won't further it there. But did you believe that the league could last anywhere near this long? Like, I know you expected that it was going to be like maybe a summer thing and you'd see what would happen, but did you ever think that 4 years later and 15 seasons later, we'd be here with like 2 junior leagues as well?
I I could not see this coming at all. Uh, I I don't know how we got this far. Think riding on your back through most of it. But yeah, when I created this, I did not know this would last this long. It's actually pretty crazy to think about. 4 years, 15 seasons, and going strong. I think
We
everybody's
just had
doing it.
our biggest draft ever, broke the record for
Yeah,
most
I think
players signed up for a
that's
draft.
awesome because you get a lot of talk about, oh, this person's not coming back. Oh, we got about 10 people not coming back. I remember me, you, and Cap like kind of worrying about it, and like, how do we get people to actually play this game still and keep them entertained and keep up with the leagues? And see how we can make them better for everybody. And it's kind of surprising me that this is finally the season like we break that record because we just had such a lopsided season last season.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting to me. Like maybe that's the reason why more people wanted to sign up is because of we had such a lopsided season last season. So you got to knock off Guy and Otto. So I mean, but I don't know. I can't explain how uh, a lot of people are still playing this game and still have that drive to get better. And because honestly, like preseason games tonight were a lot of fun, and this game still has like so much replayability. It's just awesome how long it's been going on.
I think we played like what 4 scrims after our
Yeah,
game against you guys
and
too.
honestly,
Like we
like
just played like 5
yeah,
straight or
you
something.
know me, like I hate scrimming, but it's been a lot of fun. I think it's like a combination of what team you're on and the people around you that really
Yeah.
make the experience better. And I think every season I've had a lot of fun, no matter what I really say at the end, because usually I'm like, oh, this is dumb, I hate it, but I have a lot of fun with it.
What would you say is your favorite moment of your career so far? So
You
the
know,
past 14 seasons.
when I saw these questions, I thought about it a lot, and it's such a hard thing to point out one of your favorite moments of your career, because I've had such a long one, and it's not like it's been short or it's been awful because I've had a lot of success. So if I had to say
You
a
can pick
moment,
like 2 or 3 if you want to give
okay,
it
yeah,
a couple
I
of
mean
them.
it's pretty hard. I think one of the most recent favorite memories is playing on New York and playing with a guy that I thought hated me and that we haven't really got along for the past 4 years.
Talking
That's
about
Dick
Cap, right?
Defense. Yeah, oh yeah, Cap, yeah. Yeah, DMB, we have not really a lot of history, just I guess we do have a lot of history. Just I always thought he didn't like me. I didn't like him, I guess, because of that. And we never talked. I don't think I've ever talked to him like one on one until that season. And it took me a while to adjust and how nice of a guy he was and to play with, and how easy to play defense for him and with meat sale. I think that was such a good moment for me to see because I think he's the only person that I thought hated me. There's probably a few other people that hate me, but he's the only one that like really trolled me in games. And he just does it for the fun of it. And I mean, I understand now, but that was definitely a really good moment to I guess bond with him a little bit and even win a cup with him. So that was also really fun. Uh, and a couple others that I'll mention brief. Playing with you and Matt was
Season
a lot
3.
of yeah. Season 3
Yeah.
was a lot of fun till you quit on
Stealing your
us.
assists.
Yeah. Oh, if I wish we had secondary assists, I would have a
That would
lot
have
more
put you
assists
over
and
that
goals.
200 points too, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That that was awesome. I really enjoyed the season I was on Buffalo and carrying a team because a lot of people thought that I only played defense because I wasn't good at offense, and so that really proved to a lot of people that I could do both. Uh, and I guess I have to add this third one. The creation of a long shot was against like Fuzzy Wuzzy's team in the HQML. Uh, uh, do you remember that? It was in the championship, I think. I just
I
kind of
can't
like
remember
ripped the
when it
halfway
was.
shot,
Yeah.
and then that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna try that more often. After that, just kind of just
You were
randomly went
like
in.
the guy to make long shots
Yeah,
dangerous.
yeah. I
I
still
know
believe I'm
Matt
the
learned a
best one.
lot from
Yeah,
you about that. But I
yeah,
mean, you talk about like being a defenseman and how like people were just assuming that like, oh, he plays defense because he's not like good enough. Like Hayes was always a great player, but it we moved you to defense. Or I guess I did.
yeah. Thanks,
I
BB.
moved you to defense season 2 because we had not led and I on the team already. So it's like rather than the 3 of us competing on forward for time, made more sense for one of us just to go defense. And you were probably the most defensively responsible of the 3 of us, so it made sense. And then you turned out to be like the best defenseman ever. So seems like it worked pretty well.
Yeah, it worked all right, I guess.
Much as you complained to me about it.
Yeah. Trade me, man. Trade me.
So those are some of your favorite moments. What is the biggest regret you have about your career?
I thought about this one a lot too. Um, and I would probably have to say switching up my style of defense in 5v5. I think after the season of Washington, uh, no, no, after Vancouver, I think that was season 11. Yeah, when I got on your team, Dial, in season 12, I really switched the way that I played. I don't know if that was because at the time, I didn't really care at the game. I was kind of mad at the community, uh, for like,
That was right after we stepped down, wasn't
yes,
it?
yeah, exactly. And so I didn't really take the game that serious, and therefore I kind of switched up how I played. And I used to like play up a lot more offensively, and then I know in that particular season I really stepped back and played defensively. And I don't know, I think that's one of my biggest mistakes was not always attacking, because I think I could have been better on that team and could have won the cup. I mean, I did miss those two games in the championship. I went 2-2 versus you, Cleveland, just so you know. Uh, I think we could have had a better shot at the cup if I would have continued the way I played throughout my whole career. And that really lasted. Let's see, season 13. Yeah, I'd see all season 13. Besides the playoffs, I played like that too, and it really showed in our team that I think in Game 7 when we were down 2-0 to Nashville, I pretty much said to myself like, enough is enough. Just like play offensively. Ended up and I ended up getting 2 assists in like that 2 minutes. I think both to DMB or something, to tie up the game, and that
Yeah, I
really
think
like
TB got
jolted
the
me.
winner, right?
Yeah, that really like jolted me. Like continue how you're playing like throughout your whole career. So really, I think that's where people started not believing me anymore was after that season, and I think people are still biased if I'm washed up now, because I really took like a more defensive role, and I'm seeing myself taking a lot more offensive role nowadays, and not being scared to uh, pinch up a lot more than when I played for you. So I think I took a step back in my career, and I think that might have helped me for the best, honestly, because I think last season was definitely one of the best seasons I played, even though it didn't show up in the votes at the end of the season. I think personally for me, I played honestly the best, and I just need to get my mechanics down again, and then hopefully, people can see me as the best again, because I think that's where I want to be at.
Definitely well on your way towards that. So is there anything else you wish you had accomplished in your career up till now?
I wish I have played forward a little bit more. Uh, kind of sucks that there's so many people that want to be forward, and you just gotta stay back on defense majority of the time. So I wish I
Got
could
too
have.
good at it.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
yeah. I know with that Buffalo season, I wish I would have got 200 points. I know I could have done it if I would have showed up a few more games, and ifs don't really count for much because 91 points. I think it was 91.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
91, which is, I mean, that's insane.
yeah, I wish I would have got to 100. And then, man, I guess now for like a goal for myself is just to win my own trophy again. I'm really chasing after it this season. Hopefully, I can prove to the voters that I can do it. So I really hope I can accomplish that. So I guess that, and the fact that I really wanna, maybe a season down the line I'll play offense, and then I'll try and take your awards away, Dial, for most points.
I haven't been getting it recently. Been getting unseated.
That's
Auto coming in
oh
big
yeah, I
here. Auto
forgot
and
about
Lucic the
auto.
last couple
Oh
seasons.
god, yeah,
Been fighting me for it, so.
damn it,
All
auto.
right, now come the tough questions. Those are the
Oh
easy
god,
ones. Now come the
throw
tough
throw me
ones.
some softballs.
You've been part of two Cup favorite teams that both failed to win a championship. It was season 2 on Chicago, first seeded team, and season 7 on Atlanta, also the first seeded team. Chicago was swept in the finals by our rivals in the Capitals, something that still irks me to this day. And then Atlanta lost in 5 games to Winnipeg during the semifinals. In your opinion, why didn't those teams succeed?
So first, I gotta ask you, why didn't you put season 3 Shy in there too? Because we should have won that one.
Season
I
3 Shy, I didn't put there only because you guys weren't the first seeded team. Montreal finished
if
1
you
point
didn't
better than
quit,
you.
yeah, you're right.
And yeah, oh yeah, that's what you wanted to say, huh?
Yep, that's
All right,
exactly what I
I'll
wanted
just
to
bring
say.
up you guys had a 3-1 series lead and lost it. Just drop that one. The
You're right.
own goal by Matt in game 7 to tie the game for them. Bring that one up.
Yeah, it was. All right, well, cut that part out, man. Cut that part out. So season 2 Shy, I just think we weren't ready to take that next step over Otto, Tim Barrett, and T. Lewis, who was the best goalie at the time. I think he was like one of the first goalies to save the in-air shots. So just playing against that like highly skilled team of Otto and Tim, because they're like the first people to actually know how to deke, and Otto knew how to shoot really well, but Tim just knew how to pretty much deke the whole team out. And I just wasn't ready as a defenseman to take that extra step and really learn how to take the body, how to like, cut people off, how to know where to put my stick at. So I pretty much put the blame on me for that season 2 Chicago, because I couldn't figure out how to play defense quite that well yet at that high skill level that I needed to be at. So that kind of sucks, but it was a really
It was
growing
your
moment for
first
me.
season on
Yeah.
defense, and Otto was pretty nuts. So
And then Tim would just take the puck up, and then like he'd do
and then
stuff
Deke
with his
left.
stick in the air. Yeah. And I
Deke
didn't know
left.
how to skate the same way as him. Always the opposite.
What about season 7 on Atlanta?
That was one of my favorite teams that I've been on. Fuzzy Wuzzy is one of my favorite people. Fuzzy, I hope you listen to this, man. Miss you. Then I think that was Cap's first season starting, and
Yeah.
Leafs was on that team too. And then we had Jarvin in that. And I really enjoyed that team because people thought we couldn't score. And Leafs and Cap ended up being the top scorers, which was honestly kind of funny. And then me and Fuzzy just took long shots pretty much, and then Cap would tip them. And then Leafs had his brown luck. Sorry, Leafs. And then Jarvin would do his thing because Jarvin was actually a pretty good goalie back then. And then in the playoffs, we won that first game pretty single-handedly, if I remember. It was like
Yep.
4-0, 4-1,
Yep.
something along those lines. And I think we just got too confident. I think especially after that game, we were just like, oh, when do we play? Was it? Were you on Dallas?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
it?
it was
Yeah.
Dallas.
I was like, oh, when do we play Dallas already? Like, let's go. And then we got beat, and that was pretty discouraging. But like, obviously, we kind of just still was looking past them. And then we got freaking 4-0 like after we won that first game. It was just awful. I think I lost that 5th game. My laptop wasn't working at your house, and so I had to jump on your computer.
Yep.
Which wasn't it wasn't the worst thing. I wouldn't blame the game on that, because I was just kind of skating around and I didn't really do anything. But we didn't get what we needed out of everybody. I don't think I played near my best games. I don't think Fuzzy played his. I think we needed obviously more scoring from our 2 forwards, and then I probably put the blame. I'm sorry, Jarvin. I put the more blame on him. There were some shots I think I remember just going in and just kind of messing with our morale a little bit, and we didn't have a leader that would, say, okay, that's good. No, just come on, just keep skating. Let's get one back. We didn't really have that leader because I think if people played with me before, I'm not really that vocal when we play. I mean, I'll call what I'm doing, but I'm not gonna try and gather the locker room up. So we needed that guy to be like, hey, it's all right. let's just chill out, take a break, and let's just play our game. And we didn't adjust at all to Winnipeg, and they played us a great game. Well, who was on that team? Bern Wernham. Was that Misail's first season? Was he?
Nina was the goalie.
Nina, yeah, Nina.
I think Mitzel was their backup.
Yeah, I
maybe?
think he was. Season 7 playoffs. I gotta look at this team. I'm curious. Oh, Big V, Bo, Crab. Oh, Crab was on that team. Wow, why didn't we? Should have took this team a little bit harder. But yeah, I mean they had a solid team.
They were the 4th seed, and they weren't coming in that hot into the playoffs anyway. So like, nobody really expected them, especially with how well you guys did in the regular season. Like I can say from an outside perspective, like most of us thought you were gonna beat them in 4 or 5 games, and that would be the end of it. And then we just see you in the finals because that's what had happened
Yeah.
every season up till then in the LHL. The 1st seed always basically dumped on the 4th seed, and then made it to the finals. So like it wasn't even necessarily that like we thought they were bad or anything. It's just like that is what always happened. So because you guys were the first team to finish 1st seed and not make the finals.
Yeah, that's a little rough.
Boston season 13 joined you as the 2nd team to do it, so you're not
Yeah.
alone.
At least
Yeah.
I ended up being on a 4 seed team to do that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's like looking back, it's kind of tough. But like also looking back, that team was good. Crab, Big V, Bo when he was probably one of the top forwards in the game. Nina, don't really remember him, but and Burns always been a solid defenseman in the LHL. He's been a backup these last few seasons, but he can definitely still play. So yeah, I mean that was a good team. Yeah, we just overlooked them really hard.
Sort of snowball effect too.
Yeah,
Where like once you started going down, like series
tilt,
was tied 1
tilt,
to 1,
tilt,
2
tilt.
to 1. Yeah.
Yeah, couldn't figure them out.
So you spoke about how you were later season 13 on the team that did the same thing Winnipeg did to you. You guys did it to Boston. This was on New York. What was it about season 13 New York that allowed you guys to make that Cinderella run, beating the 2 teams that looked like the all-out favorites all season long? Because that was another one where like
Yeah,
Nashville and Boston were like the 2 teams, and the rest of us competed to make it to the first round. But basically, it seemed like a foregone conclusion that the 2 of them would meet in the finals. You took them to 7 games each time and won. Like,
yeah.
what was it about that team that allowed you guys to do that?
So pretty much, I think the reason we won. I mean we're down 3-1. We just really got hot at the right time, and it was also a combination of Meat Sale making those big trades. Like Mr. TB wasn't having the greatest season ever, uh, so making I think it was like what tall midget for TB. Making that was like a huge step in the right direction, and then we ended up getting Cap uh, for McJabba or something along those lines. And that just really helped because me and McJabba just didn't work because he would always be up in the zone. And I think that contributed to my really being over defensive because I would always have to pretty much play for 2 defensemen. And so having Cap like always, uh, not always back, but really watching how I would play and adjust, and I'd watch him play and adjust to it. Just having another smart defenseman helped, and then having the just raw skill of TB and DMB was absolutely insane. So I didn't really mind going in as the 4th seed. I thought we had a pretty good shot, and obviously we went down 3-1. It was honestly really discouraging. Uh, I forget. I think we won the first game on the first day. Not the first. We won one of our first game, yeah, on like the first day I think, and then we lost the next 2. And that was really discouraging to see. And then Meat Sale and DMB. Meat Sale's a great locker room guy, I would say. Uh, I have nothing but great words for Meat Sale. I love playing for him when he was a GM. He would definitely continue to say, "Hey, let's keep going. Let's just play. We can beat these guys." And I really stuck on Timu those 3 games. I don't know what Otto. I don't even remember what Otto was doing. Because he obviously was the best player on the ice throughout those first four. So I don't know what happened with those last three.
Yeah.
I know Timu was definitely cherry picking, so I'd stick on him. And then most of the time, like Timu wouldn't be doing anything in the defensive zone, so we'd have the puck a lot of the time, and it's just like, oh, just keep it in. And then whenever they tried to dump it to Timu, like I would be right there. So we kind of adjusted to them, and then just got hot at the right time. And then we continued that momentum into against Nashville. And I think I even missed 2 games against Nashville, and we won both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was gonna
With
feel,
Austin, I think.
yeah, I was gonna feel real bad if we ended up losing and blowing a 3-1 lead when I came back, and that would have been awful. But yeah, luckily, we just we stuck composed. We had some bad luck throughout those games. We had a lot of posts. We just weren't getting that puck luck that we probably had during the first 4 games of that series. So we just like kept going at it, and I ended up throwing a couple pucks in front, and DMB just an all around awesome player. Just he'll finish anything if you put it near him. So I mean that was just my objective, just coming into the offensive zone and throwing in. And it's kind of funny. Meadsale was after the game he was kind of mad at me for like cheating up, because all season I would not cheat up, and then I
Yeah.
cheated up during that game 7. And I mean, obviously, I think that we would have lost if I didn't do that. So I'm not. I mean, I'm not saying that I won us the series, but I definitely helped us win, and it was just awesome to see, because a lot of people doubted us all season, even though we had such like a nice skilled team. It was good all around. We had good offense, we had good defense, and then obviously Meat Sales pretty good at goalie.
Yep.
So yeah, it was awesome to win with that team.
All right, so we'll move on from LHL as a player, but now we're gonna get into some BOC stuff. You ready
Yeah,
for
yeah,
this?
yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
ready. Yeah.
So there were many BOC decisions that you were involved in, which drew a lot of criticism. Most of those were like GNT rulings, trade vetoes especially,
Yeah.
and then some suspensions. Shout out to Fuzzy. Do you have any regrets about any of the calls that you made, or any of those like punishments you handed
I
down, or?
have. I thought a lot about this. I have one just main regret, and that was that I don't know if you remember that. What was it? Detroit and someone else, and there was a controversial goal somewhere,
That was
and
Brooklyn and my team. Chicago. Yeah, Brooklyn and
yeah,
Chicago.
and it directly affected who would get the 4th seed. So it
Yep,
had like
who
the
got the
GM's
playoff
vote
spot?
or something,
Yep.
and then someone ended up switching their vote,
I think it
and
was
I ended up
Sammy.
going with I ended
Yep.
up going with the switch vote. And that's the reason why I quit the first time. And that's obviously that was probably one of the biggest mistakes that I made. And obviously I've learned from it. I shouldn't have let Sammy switch his vote. That was kind of dumb of me. But I think the reason I was not the greatest BOC is because I try to appease everybody. Uh, I really want the best outcome for everyone. So it's kind of tough to make those calls sometimes when they like cut someone off or something.
Especially
Uh,
where like that's probably one of the only calls that will ever happen in the LHL that literally decided who
mhm.
made the playoffs and who didn't.
Yeah,
So
it was awful. I should have just stuck with what he had the first time. And I think second, which this might tie into the trade vetoes a little bit, I should have moved the trade deadline sooner into the season. Because I think a lot of times, especially Dalfan would do this. He would, trade at the trade deadline and get you or get someone else, and then just like completely not balance the league, because we don't have season to season stuff. It's season, then we're done, and then let's draft again.
yeah,
All my mistakes are now gone. I
yeah.
think he was like the main person to take advantage of it, and I didn't really think there was any uh, like really bad trades until that like one that I obviously vetoed. Uh, I still I don't regret any of those at all. Because I had one thing in mind, and that was trying to keep league parity. I agree with everything I did in those trade vetoes. I would still make the same decision. So I like to be right. I think I know what's right, and I still stick with what I made in some of those decisions. So that fuzzy thing. How long did I suspend them?
We suspended him a couple times.
Yeah, you gotta know,
Wasn't
like
just once.
I love, like I've said before, like I think in this cast, like I love fuzzy.
Yeah.
Ended up suspending him. Like I tried to be non-biased as possible, and I mean, it's kind of hard in like just a few like team league, and obviously it got better when we had the BOC, with like the 3 people. I think that's one of the best things we've ever had, and it's really it worked out. Um, it kind of sucks that people got mad at us. Probably got mad at me the most, because I wouldn't justify what I really thought on Reddit, because I thought I didn't really need to justify it to the community. Like what I thought was my own. Maybe you can tie that into it, right? Maybe I should have elaborated, even though I think people won't switch their minds, and obviously I'm not gonna switch my mind about it. I don't even remember. I barely remember that trade. I know it was like Matt for somebody, Matt for some people, and it was an
Oh,
awful trade.
and like the Nina, Matt, and
Yeah,
Mitzel, I think was involved in that somehow.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
the
was
trade
such a
veto.
bad trade.
Yeah.
Like, God, like I don't even understand. I don't understand why it was even a big deal. But life goes on. I think I've had a lot more fun since I've not been a BOC, because I can actually like say whatever I want. I can troll around in games. I can pretty much do whatever. I mean, I don't break rules, but I do me. Uh, so yeah, I definitely don't. Uh, Maybe some of it was justified, but at the end of the day, I think I'm right, and they're gonna think they're right, and that's okay. It's all right to agree to disagree.
All right. Well, I'll get you off of those POC questions. We won't open more cans of worms there. Um, so we'll switch to something completely different. You've been a part of every USA national team so far for Hockey Question Mark. Do you believe that not just the USA but North America in general is finally better than EU and Russia?
It was funny. I think I was listening to Matt's uh, interview, and I totally disagreed with him. I think he said that EU would always be better
Yep.
than USA. I totally disagree with that now. I think maybe back then, yeah, that's right. But if you put our best 5v5 team out there versus their best 5v5 team, we're gonna beat them 6-0 every game.
Damn.
I just don't see how who's even relevant from the EU. Like I don't understand. Like they're
I
not.
know a lot of the big name players who used to play don't play as much anymore. But you still got the names like Kukler out there. Mozilla, I think, still plays. I think Igorka still plays. Eartha.
Yeah, I
So
still think if you put even all time, if you put all our all time greats versus their all time greats, I think we win easily. I just don't. I think our raw skill. I think Matt said this too. Like our raw skill is so much better. I think our teamwork is just honestly so much better now too. Ever
I
since
think
we
that
moved
was
to
his
5v5.
sticking point is that
Yeah,
their
yeah.
teamwork is better.
I It might still be a little bit better, but I think we've gotten so much better at teamwork since we moved to 5v5. You see a lot of these people, I think the BOC did awesome having a keeper this year. And you can see like when people play well with each other, I mean they keep it like Crab and BG. Like how long have they been playing with each other?
Yeah.
Like that's good chemistry right then and there. That's a perfect example. And there's probably a lot of others I'm missing, like Guy and KS Auto, awesome duo in the LHL, and that could probably easily translate to uh, season of play. I think whenever the last time we played them, we had like a lot of selfish guys. And now that our newer players are actually like pretty good, like Guy, for example, like I just said, they play a lot more team style. Uh, now it like compared to what Lucic plays. Like Lucic was one of our staples back in the day, but he's too selfish. He still is too selfish. So I mean, I definitely agree with Matt to an extent that we had people that were selfish and we just didn't have that good teamwork. But I think that like new wave of players that came along with Gee and like Tony Flo, uh, BGP, and then like obviously that's the BOC right now. That's probably people that care most about the game right now. They're the ones that are awesome team players. Like even though I don't think I played with any of them in the team setting, like but you can just tell because of the way they play on the ice, and it translates to usually wins. Like I know BGP's a pretty good defenseman. I mean, he just won what best defenseman last season.
Yep.
So he's obviously a good team player to have. That'd be awesome to play with him. Uh, Play with him one day. Maybe hopefully it'd be cool to get like a USA team back together. Even like a Midwest versus West and all that team, because like the Midwest wasn't that good. I think it was like me, General Zod, Tall Midget McJabba, and like miscellaneous others. But now like you add Gee and BGP to that mix. Ooh, Midwest is nasty. But yeah, so I just totally think now that Matt's been away, he just doesn't know how much of a team game this has become. Because I think Nashville was one of the teams that I rated on my preseason rankings as like one of the worst teams ever. I was like, wow, this team's not gonna succeed. This is like who's gonna score on this team? Uh, when they had Tony and Crab and Zam, uh, and Kiwi in that, and I don't forget who else they had. Oh, D-Man
Jerry, yeah.
Yeah. So like you don't have like a perennial scorer on that team. I mean, you have a great passer in Crab. I mean, he's had his whole career he's awesome at passing, and he's not really known for putting the puck in the back of the net. But I mean, you just have good team scoring and good team like puck movement, and you're gonna have a good team like Nashville. So I definitely think we moved in the right direction when we did that 5v5, and we could definitely just kill the Russians, the Europeans, whatever they throw us at us that's not in North America. I think we just win every time.
What is one piece of advice you would give to up-and-coming defensemen trying to improve?
Throughout my whole career, people ask me like, "Oh, Taze, how do you get so good, man?" I just don't tell anybody, because I always wanted to be like that best defenseman, and I didn't want to have anybody steal my secret sauce. But obviously, I want to help the game grow, and I'm not as selfish as I used to be. So I mean, just some things, I guess I would say, is to just don't play scared. Because I know in defense, a lot of the time you're going to be scared a little bit. Like, oh, I'm the only one back. Oh, is this guy going to deke me out? Like, he's got to play like aggressive. You got to go for the puck.
Play
And
with
you got to,
confidence.
yeah, exactly. And you also have to know when to pinch properly. Because a lot of pucks, I know there's a lot of 50-50s I go after. And I'll win probably I don't know, 75%, 80. And I think it's always a good pinch because you're gonna disrupt that pass no matter what by going up. But if you just let them like kind of skate and you try and go back, it's such an awkward. I know for me at least, I don't know if it is for other defensemen, that if you're skating towards your own net, it's so much harder to like block shots and try and get the puck away from your opponent, at least in my opinion, than facing the other way. And I just don't want to be vulnerable, so I'm just gonna, go pinch up all the time. I guess another one would be is to just try and play what your team needs and just take it game by game. Because there's some games like I think tonight is a good example of Dial, you're back, you're breaking a lot, and they're gonna they're not afraid to pass it to you when you're up the ice. So it's good to play a defensive game when that's happening. But if nobody on the team is doing that, then it's okay to, be up all in the zone the whole game and have that like loose defensive style. So I definitely think it's less mechanically and more in your head to be a better defenseman.
It's a really good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a role model that you looked up to as a player?
I started off so early. I did not have a role model at all. I mean, you can maybe say Tim a little bit, and especially in that 4v4 style.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, even though he would be in his own net doing whatever, and then he'd just come up and steal the puck from you, like just trolling around. So I mean, maybe I would say Tim, but he's not role model material at all. So I don't really give him that credit. uh, so I did not really have a role model growing up. I'm not growing up, but
Growing up
like
as a player. Yeah.
yeah, growing up as a player, I guess. Yeah. Uh, so it was kind of hard because I started off so early, and you just
Yeah.
gotta kind of just be your own player and try your best. And here I am.
Who do you think is the best North American player to ever play the game?
This is such an easy question, and it's obviously Matt. I don't understand any like how you can have an argument for someone else because all that skill. Actually, I kind of take that back. Matt is the best skill wise. He just if he played, all right, take Otto's mind and put it in Matt's skill, and you get the best player ever. Because Matt would do a lot of stupid stuff, and then he'd also pass it a little too much sometimes, and he'd be like, "What are you doing, man? Just like put the puck in the net. Like you're right there." And he would, I mean, he wouldn't do it sometimes. He would just do like random stuff, and like obviously skill wise, he's by far the best ever, and it was a lot of fun back in the day, trying to play defense against him. But I mean, if I wouldn't say Matt, it's such like a hard decision because I think everybody has something great about them that makes them unique, and you can't really say like pick a player. You can just pick out of a hat pretty much between you, DMB, Otto. Are probably the three best right now in my mind, and it's really not even close, in my opinion. I think there's the three best forwards, and then it drops off a little bit. Uh, but yeah, I think Matt is definitely the best North American player when he wants to be.
Yeah. So who's your favorite player to play with or to watch play then? Or both?
Yeah, to play with, I think it's too different. To play with, and it's so hard to say. I really
You can give a
enjoyed.
couple. You don't have to
Yeah,
single someone out there.
yeah. All right, I'll give two. The first one would be Jay Lalu. I think he's one of. I wish he played this
Bonehead
game.
move.
Yeah, I wish he played this game again. He's one of the best people I've played with. He's awesome. He has an awesome personality. He's one of the most skilled that I've ever played with. He just had fun. Like we just had fun on that Philly team that won the cup, and he just I can't say more awesome things about him than I've already said. It was just a lot of fun, just throwing the puck up to him and then him like memeing it up and then scoring. And then the second would obviously be one of the best passers, and I've said his name a few times. It'd be Crab on that season 6 San Jose team. Yeah, Crab, don't you remember that, buddy? Why don't you ever draft me, man? Like, come on. Uh, but yeah, Crab would just pass it to me and Lucic, and then me and Crab would just have the best time. That was like the easiest time ever to play. Even though that was like the first 5v5 season, maybe people just didn't figure it out. And Lucic obviously kind of cheated the draft, but that was by far one of like the easiest seasons to play on. 'Cause it was just a lot of fun, just scoring a lot of goals. Because I think I had 50 something points as a D man, and then I think that's pretty damn good. Because I think I missed like 5 games or something. like that.
It is pretty damn good, especially
Yeah.
in 5v5. That is
Yeah.
insane.
It's something that I'll probably never hit again, but it was a lot of fun playing with someone that would prefer the pass instead of shoot, and having that combination with Lucic was a lot of fun. Even though I'm not saying Lucic is one of my most fun to play with, by the way. Just want to put that out there. But to watch, as I like to watch, definitely goalies a lot. I think that's a lot of fun just to make nutty saves. And my favorite ever was probably T Lures back in the day. I know I got to give it the Russian T. He was honestly a lot of fun to watch, and like the first person to actually be good at goalie. And I know during a lot of those USA games, we relied on him a lot, and even just in HTML games too. Just we relied on T Lures because he would just carry us a lot of times, just making nutty saves. Maybe they weren't even those good of saves, but I'm not gonna ruin my nostalgia and go rewatch those and be like, oh wow, I thought that was a really cool save, but it wasn't. But just watching T back in the day was just an awesome treat to have.
There ever a player you wish you had played with in your career?
I feel like I played with almost everyone. Uh, it's it's so hard.
Any newer guys, maybe?
Yeah, it would probably be one of the newer people. Like I've said, I think Gee and BGP would be a lot of fun to play with. I imagine Tony's pretty fun to play with too. He's been pretty
Very smart
consistently
player.
good. Yeah, and that's who I enjoy playing with. Like people who are smart, know when to cycle the puck, know where the open passes are. Just people who watch their map, I guess, more than their skill. I think I've only played with Otto maybe one time, if that. Yeah, I did play with Otto one time, I think. No, I can't
Yeah,
remember.
season 11 on
Season
Vancouver.
11. Okay, yeah. Oh, that's when he had high ping. I want new ping Otto, low ping Otto. So I guess if it'd be one of the newer people, definitely. Like I just described. Uh, or new ping Otto. That's real good.
What was your favorite team you've ever been a part of, if you had to pick one?
I think it goes into obviously one of my favorite players to play with. I think it was the Cup team that I was part of for Philly. I think it was either season 8
Season
or 9.
9?
9. It had to
Season
been
9.
9. Yeah, I think that was with Briz, Zam,
Dyaloreax.
Dildo, and Jay Lalu. And that was a lot of fun because that was just a lot of easygoing guys who, just wanted to play and try to get better as a team. That's when I really hung out with Zam and Jay Lalu and D-Man Jerry and all of them, and they're honestly a lot of good guys out there. And
Johnny
I just,
Hockey.
yeah, Johnny
Shout out to
Hockey,
him.
yeah. I just remember playing with all of them and having a lot of fun. I think that was my sophomore year of college. I remember I forgot my mouse one time, and I was already driving 30 minutes to my house in Bloomington, which is 2 hours away. And I even turned around and got my mouse because I didn't want to miss those games because I had a lot of fun with those people. And it was honestly a lot of fun, messing with Briz. Won't go into too many details, but he would do some pretty dumb stuff sometimes, and we'd all like just make fun of him.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a good team atmosphere, and one I look forward to during like every draft. Like, oh, am I gonna get like a good team atmosphere, or am I gonna get like a learning team? But if I had to pick, it'd be like that good team atmosphere like we had in Philly.
What would be your 5v5 dream team?
I thought about a lot about this one too. Oh man, this would be such a dirty team. So I'm kind of taking Matt's idea. I know he had like 4 forwards, so I'm gonna pick 3 forwards and then obviously a goalie. So I'm gonna start with the forwards. I'm obviously gonna pick Matt, and then I'm gonna pick Matt and you. Get that Kim back together, and then I'm gonna take Crab as the third forward. Because I think he's too valuable of an asset to not have on a 5v5 dream team. Because he's just such a smart player, and he knows how to pass, and you need that with a team that's consisted of Matt and you. And then in net, it's such a hard decision because right now Kiwi and Meat Sale are by far the best goalies in my opinion, and they're just so I guess different in some ways, but they're just so good. And so I would probably have to pick Meat Sale because I just know what he's gonna do in that crunch time, and he's just such a clutch goalie that I can just rely on, and I know that he's gonna make that save in those last seconds, like he did against Nashville in the Cup to make us
You
go into
know
overtime.
Kiwi's gonna kill you for
Yeah,
saying
I
that.
know, but I haven't seen Kiwi make those. I need him to be tested a little bit more before I can put him on this dream team.
Fair enough. Meatsel's got several seasons of experience. Makes a
Yeah,
big difference.
when he doesn't mess around, he might be the best goalie if he doesn't mess around.
What would you
So
change about the game itself or the community if you had the chance?
I definitely wish Cryptic Sea was more involved. It just kind of sucks to play on a version he doesn't care about anymore, and like have all these people sign up for the leagues, and it's just like, oh, this game will barely change a little bit because we have such good people in Baba and Migo and all of them that like try and work on the game, and DVD just try and make this game better, but you can't really make it better without the creator. And obviously Cryptic Sea would improve this game by a lot and at a lot quicker speed than dealers I just described if he was a lot more involved. And just it just sucks as a community to have such a dedicated one and like a pretty large one for just like an indie game that hasn't really had any advertisement at all, really just by word of mouth and Reddit, be this successful. And I wish he would take in and really see what we have to offer before he's just like, oh, you guys screamed at me on Twitter a few times, I'm not going to tolerate that. I really wish he came around for those. I remember those community nights back in the day where he would show up and play. I think like the last time he did it was around when he was releasing the new hockey version that we paid $8 for. Probably the worst $8 my whole life spent, but I wasn't too mad because I mean I've already got tons of hours of this game, and I mean I would support him a lot more if he definitely joined in on the development of 55F. Like, I would definitely hand them at least a few $20 crisp bills. Like, here, man, you can go get dinner with this. Just work on hockey. I'm sure you and obviously a few others would as well throw in money for him. Like,
Oh hell yeah.
yeah, like I think he's missing such like a big opportunity. And I see him on Twitter like complain about different things with some different games and uh complaining about like his salary sometimes and stuff like that. But it's just like you could make a lot of money by caring about like a little hockey game, and I think it would only grow even more. I dream about having a 30-team LHL season and how awesome that would be to have like a full length season, maybe like a lot more condensed than the actual NHL season, but still be on that like sim level, and it'd just be awesome. I think if he gave this game any like chance or a day, if he just listened to us in the TeamSpeak channel for a little bit, I think we definitely convince him to actually do something, care about us. It's kind of
Yeah.
sad, but yeah, I think that's one of the only few things that I would personally change. Because I love the community, even the big trolls in the game. Uh, Even though I don't know all the like the newest trolls, like that one that was posting on our hockey thread that we did. I forget that guy's name.
Oh, Alter.
Alter, yeah. And I think that guy needs some help, but that's a whole different story. And then what was that guy's name? He's from like Arizona or something, or his name was Coyote.
Sand hockey.
Sand hockey. There we go. That guy was. I mean, I could guess you can just blame it because he was young, but all those trolls, bring out the best in the community because the community usually fights that pretty early on. Uh, so it's always good to see. how good we are and how many people will stand up for someone else when there's clearly like a wrongdoing. So I'm not willing to trade this community for anything.
So you've always been a proponent of exploring new ways to build teams at the start of every LHL season. So the big one for you has been the bidding system, which I know came from the NHL leagues that you were talking
Yep.
about that you used to play on Xbox. What is it about the draft format, or just maybe it's the resetting of teams every season, that doesn't satisfy you?
I just don't like it because, I mean, what's the point of being a GM if you can't GM your team for multiple seasons while keeping the same core intact? I know we're a small community, and I think that's fine, and I think it can still work, but nobody has really given it a legit chance to actually like be a thing. I think I talked briefly with BG around Christmas about it. And I just kind of stopped working on it because I mean nobody really just seems that interested in it, and which is honestly really sad because I think it's one of the best things you can do. Because I know it sucks to be that sixth GM and you're like, oh, I really want to play with, Otto this season. Oh, but he's gonna pick first. So I mean, I can't. What am I gonna do? Trade my whole first, second, and third round for him? No. I think it would be better if we had a bidding system and let the market, take its toll on people, and I think that would be a lot of fun. I'm definitely, interested. I mean, if any of the current BOC like hear this and want to try and do something, like it's awesome because I've gotten like a lot of program experience in the last couple of years to actually like make this thing actually come alive. And I'm sure like a lot of people would jump in too to try and help this project out so they can only help the LHL and not hurt it. Uh, actually make this thing a reality and not just something that I've been saying for the last 15 seasons that we should do.
I think
So
the biggest fear is the complexity with it, because like it's so much more involved than something simple like, here you have, 8 draft picks,
yeah,
one in each round, use them wisely, and then we set them off on their own way, right? Like the
yeah,
bidding system would require like what, like a full week long thing
yeah,
of constant like checking things and updating things. And
yeah. But you see that excitement with that, like what, 2 or 3 hours of the draft. You'll see that whole hype for a week, and you'll see just like a lot of things and generating a lot of discussion, in my opinion, about like all the people getting bidded on and just just such a good atmosphere to like to have to actually like see a number next to your name, in my opinion. And then I also like to bring in the contract discussion because I think it's important for like GMs to keep the people that they want and to continue to do so, like with under the salary cap. And if you want to keep somebody, or if you find like a diamond in the rough, like some low cost guy that ends up panning out, uh, like Juice, like a Juice, because I know he would have been pretty cheap, and then he's gonna end up being pretty good. Just for an example, uh, as someone who's gonna be good for future seasons, just keep them on your team and not have to draft them in the first round, even though you got them in like the seventh round last season. So it'd just be more fun for the returning GMs, in my opinion. I think if you get like a group of 6 GMs that say they'll do it for at least 2 seasons, I think you can really hit this idea off. Even though I think it will work, even if you switch GMs every season.
all right, last question. You ready?
Yep, ready.
Would you ever come back as a GM or a BOC member?
I would definitely not as a BOC member. I've enjoyed my time just doing whatever as not a BOC member. Remember a lot of times, tough decisions I don't want to make. I'm not really made to be a leader of some sort, and I mean I understand that. I want to please too many people in life, and I can't please both parties in an online hockey game. Because I mean that even talking earlier, like that trade was pretty divided in my opinion. Like there's a lot of people that agreed and a lot of people that didn't agree. It's just like you can't please both parties, and it's just I always wanted to do that, and I just failed and I couldn't. As a GM, I would only return as a GM first of all, if the bidding system ever happened, I would definitely love to be a GM. And I guess to add along with that, if I saw the GMs and I really wasn't happy with that direction, that like a lot of people that signed up as to be GMs, and it just wasn't a good pool, then I would feel obligated to step in and try and help out the league in any way I can. Because contrary to popular belief, I do care about this game and its growth, and it's just awesome to see how many people still care and sign up for the league still. So I mean, if it's ever an opportunity that I see fit, I will sign up for that.
There we go. Well, that's it for me. Any final shout outs you want to give? Anything you want to say before we call it a night?
I want to shout out, a couple people. One, I want to shout out Noah. Sup, man? Sup? Two, I want to shout out Big Johnny Boy Camp. Sup, Stu? How you doing, man? Three. Oh no, that's it. Nobody more shout out.
All right. Well, thank you for joining along with this. This is a lot of fun. So
Yeah,
hopefully
been fun.
everybody else enjoys it as much as I know I did anyway. Hopefully you enjoyed it too. Great to see the perspective of somebody who's been here for this long. So,
Yeah.
and I'll see you in a couple days actually, right?
Yeah. Was another week until HockeyCon.
Yeah, it's 1 week.
Yeah, it's getting close. Here's to another 15 more seasons.
I know. Another 4 more years.
Yeah.
HockeyCon 2021. Where's it gonna be?
Yeah.
All right, man. We'll call it a night there. So
Alright.
thanks to everybody for tuning in. Thanks, TaZeR, again for being a part of this, and see you guys in the next episode.